year 3000, the nuclear war that ravaged the planet Earth 500 years earlier seems almost a distant memory. A new dawn has forsaken the world. A greener and bluer world flourished from the ashes of the old. The war that ravaged the Earth erupted from Europe. A war between humans of all colors, shapes and sizes. There was a war of words at first, then physical, then a war with all the forces and technology available at the time. There was war everywhere, war in Asia, war in the Americas, and war in Africa. Everywhere was unhappy. Everyone was angry with one another. I don't really know why. I only know a few things from the past. There was a major war there too. War was what people wanted. People had had enough of life on Earth, enough of everything, and unable to control anything. War-fed people was the only force that kept them alive before most of them died. Some still live somewhere underground on this planet, and others live on Earth, flying far away to discover and conquer new worlds. The region of North Africa is now a very different place. It used to be a huge desert, and now a whole tropical forest has grown. This is where the survivors and remnants of the human race live on Earth, called the Humanoids, hidden underground. The Earth is now ruled by giant moths. At the same time, far beyond the solar system in deep space, on Earth too, a gigantic spaceship, 500 years into space, seems to reach its end. The humans left on planet Earth haven't found a planet worth living in, and are still searching for the creator of all the universe. The universe seems to be the same and not infinite. Worlds are the same, so much that their journey loops back to the journey first made 500 years ago. Back to Earth, as it is everything and everyone's fate and destiny was to return and die on the motherland. They are light years away from the Earth, and then suddenly realize that it is where they are heading. They cannot return, and return where? They seem to have been overtaken by a cosmic force. They are no longer in control of their destiny. They are forced to return to Earth. What world would they find? Would they survive? One humanoid amongst thousands living in the underground, deep inside planet Earth, guarded by hundreds of elder humanoids. One soldier moth amongst thousands of moths. Soldier moths, killer soldiers, and a giant queen moth are living on planet Earth on the ground, on the outskirts of a forest inside a giant hive. One human amongst 100 others living inside a giant spaceship, flying past the solar system in search of new worlds to conquer. Earth, location on planet Earth. Earth 2 location, deep space outside the solar system. The underground, the upper ends, the caves. Down below, the craters, the forest, the ponds, the meadows. The forest with a giant hive where the moths live. On Earth, there is no time concept. On Earth too, computers are a constant reminder of the human's own situation in time. In the year 3000, the nuclear war that has ravaged planet Earth 500 years earlier seems almost a distant memory. The new dawn has forsaken the world. A greener and bluer world flourished from the ashes of the old. The war that ravaged the Earth erupted from Europe. A war between humans of all colors, shapes and sizes. It was a war of worlds at first, then physical, then a war with all the forces and technology available at the time. There was a war everywhere. War in Asia, war in the Americas, and war in Africa. Everyone was unhappy. Everyone was angry with one another. I don't really know why. I only know a few things from the past. In a region from Europe that used to be called England, there was a major war there too. War was what people wanted. People had had enough of life on Earth, enough of everything and unable to control anything. Well-fed people was the only force that kept them alive before most of them died. Some still live, somewhere on the ground on this planet, and others left on Earth, flying far away to discover and conquer new worlds. I don't really know much about humans. I've only been told a few things about them. My father has, in turn, been told by his father, and then his father, all the way until 500 years ago. Our tribes have always existed, but we have grown somehow bigger, almost the size of a human. We have muted into more elaborate beings. I don't know why. No one knows why. We were very small then, 500 years ago. After the war ended, the worlds have been transformed. A huge smoke of all colors recovered on the planet. And we have grown gradually bigger, stronger. The region of North Africa is now a very different place. It used to be a huge desert, and now a whole tropical forest has grown. This is where we live. We do not have names, as we do not call anyone. We just live our lives because we have to. I understand the concept of names. My dad told me, and in his turn his forefathers told him. One of them was called Hal. A long, long time ago, if I would ever need a name, my name would be Hal. We are now ruling a new Earth, and this is our story. Humanoids, skinny, bold, with an eruption of veins throughout the scalps, wearing light fabric garments, plain light brown material, jute. Humanoids are hairless. Humanoids sleep inside caves, curved out of the endless crevice shaping the horizon. Humanoids sleep inside caves, curved from endless crevices shaping the horizon. It takes 6 journeys where the humanoids sleep 6 times during the same journey. It's very long. Humanoids are not very strong. Humanoids need to go down, deeper down, below the underground in search of food. There is a huge plateau recovered with brushes and trees, and humanoids eat whatever they can find from it. Furry creatures. The very furry creatures roaming down below are just like the pre-war dogs, just extremely hairy and skinny. Some small insects are still flying on the outside world, but they're nearly all extinct. Just like birds, it's very rare to see one. There are some small fishes in the ponds down below past the green forests. Humanoids can eat this. They cook them under the heat of some craters down below past the forest, and they bring them back up afterwards. Some of the craters are filled with lava, some with clean water. The underground and the outside. The moths never venture to the outside. They'll never survive, our elders told us. In the olden days, when they used to be small, they would survive, but now they are all too big and powerful. They can only survive during the day, and the day is omnipresent on the outside world. There are no nights. The sun shines profusely, masterfully, and dizzyingly forever. According to our elders, the sun is 5 times bigger than what it used to be. The heat is sometimes too overwhelming on the outside world. Humanoids often die of thirst. There is no concept of day or night anymore. It is similar in the underground. There is some dim light on the upper front, and the more we move down below, the brighter it gets. It's beyond more now this is happening. It's just like that. It's beyond me how this is happening. It's just like that. The moths. They live on the surface. They eat from our blood. So we have to keep away from them. We seldom venture on the surface. It is a long and perilous journey. We need to climb the inner mountains inside the underground to reach the top. Only the young ones fit enough to venture on the outside. Earth is a very nasty place. It is populated with giant-sized moths and butterflies, giant compared to 500 years ago when they were small. They now are the size of a human. The moths are repulsive creatures. We need to go out sometimes to hunt for other food and relics from the past, and sometimes meet them. The sun can be fiercely intense as it burns continuously. Some of our young humanoids return to the underground blinded by the sun. The moths generally remain with their villages, but they sometimes roam the land and the air in sporadic expeditions. If they see a human, we're done for. They will take us prisoners, and no prisoners have ever returned from their villages, so we don't know if the humanoids are still alive. We tend to believe they are. They do not eat humanoids, but they need us. They need our blood, but they need slaves too. Outer space, somewhere in time in a distant future, inside an intergalactic spaceship. It's huge, it's big, a celebration of life. Over 100 intoxicated human beings are dancing in space, wearing the most elaborated, beautiful and astounding outfits. They are all adorned with some pendants, a symbol of a life left behind. A David star, a cross, a series of crosses and symbols with lost meanings, of many different shapes and sizes. They must have meant something at some point in some time to someone. But not anymore, or perhaps it is a celebration of life in the present. Hal, the humanoid. We've all left planet Earth over 500 years ago. Our ancestors did. There was a war on, then another, and the whole world exploded. Some have managed to leave Earth inside a spaceship in search of a new world to conquer. We have found a few but couldn't live there for too long. Just enough to loot where we could. Our history started the day we left the Earth 500 years ago. I wouldn't say that nothing happened since then. We live, we die, we reproduce and we dance. We get intoxicated when we celebrate, and when we get angry and nasty we discover a new planet. We are always hungry and desperate. We need to live and survive. We need to survive in order to allow the human race to fulfill its destiny, to reach the higher end where the creator of all creatures live. Back to the mother of all creations, deeper into space. We will make it one day, and from then on, the entire human race will be safe ever, for we are the ones, the chosen ones. My name is Hal. The flights of the moths. They fly diagonally. They parade their power to the world. They display their wings. It's an extremely frightening sight. Such a power. They fly vertically. They have sensed a fresh body, a living organism. They know you're in there and they will get you. They fly in peak. It's war. They fly within a massive square-shaped display. The whole display is just like a massive shield. The noise is deafening. The movement of their wings echo in the air and reverberates on the ground. The whole earth trembles under its power. I've never seen it before, and not many have, as we cannot escape them. War is war, and in war, they will get no matter what. War is war, and in war, they will get you no matter what. They fly in a pair. Two moths hunting in the horizon. It's just a routine ritual, a vacation. If they see something, someone underneath on the ground, they might ignore it. They are at peace with themselves. The humanoids. I often wonder what happened to a humanoid when they are captured by the moths. Since no one managed to escape, there is no way to know for sure. I don't believe they will kill us. Moths do not eat humans. I'm not sure what they eat exactly, but I just know that from my father, who knew from their forefathers. They drink human blood, however, and for that purpose, they also want to keep us alive. We never really communicate with one another. We humanoids live a very simple existence. We go about our daily lives. We are programmed that way, programmed by our forefathers to survive, but not to live. We're only here to save the human race from the complete annihilation. We have to survive. In order to achieve this, we have to live simple lives. We can't think. We can't worry about ourselves. We have the elders. The elders are those who survive the longest. They don't do much. They rest until they die. There isn't a date on their age, as we do not have any notion of the time. Such a concept can only be vaguely remembered as its purpose, but we need to know how to figure out how the concept works. When resting during the day, they also exchange memories and thoughts of what the world might have looked like before, what humanoids are supposed to be doing today. It's the only time a humanoid is allowed to think or use his memory. It will be too much of a hindrance otherwise. The youngest feed and help the elders until they die. When they die, we wrap their carcasses with some of the giant foliage from the forest down below, and we lift the bodies to the outside world at the mercy of the sun. The body will never be seen again. We know how to survive when it's time to eat, drink, or move to the outside or down below in search of food and water. We know when to sleep and when to wake up. It is hard going down below and harder to return loaded with food and water from the springs. The water is contained inside large, abandoned shells, probably belonging to some unknown creatures that we have never met in 500 years, but may still be alive. We get new empty shells all the time. This is our life, the life we lead to save the human race from extinction. It was our lifelong routine until one day our elders decided that an expedition to the outside world was in order. Our elders decided that the humanoids needed to know what was happening on Earth. Who and what exactly are the Moths? What happened to our fellow humanoids when captured? Although the elders decided to organize an expedition to the outside world, they had yet to decide how we would brave such an expedition and for how long. How long will we survive the sun? Who and how we can possibly return? How will the elders choose who will be brave enough to go there? I've always wondered how they would recognize us. We all look the same. Some of us are younger or older. Some are male and female. We don't have a name and we are all equal. We rarely talk to one another, but humanoids do. Especially down below, out of the years of the elders, it's where the young learn to speak. But we do speak in general, but only in our mind. I do it all the time when I get up near to the elders. I may be the only one. Thinking can be very dangerous. When the humans start thinking or thinking aloud and start telling something to other humanoids, the elders will instantly banish us to the outside world and the humanoid will never be seen again. As the news spiraled inside the underground that an expedition of the world outside was imminent, thoughts were gathering their momentum. We were waiting in anticipation as to know who will be the chosen one to brave the outside world. Procreation. A humanoid is conceived inside a cocoon. It is crevice inside a rock. Every now and then a humanoid is selected to enter the cocoon. There is a little tunnel inside, and this is where this is happening. It is all done in secret and in the dark. Only the elders are allowed to get inside. They know how procreation works. They command it and direct it. Not all humanoids are selected. Some can never procreate with some reasons only known to the elders, and they will never be asked to perform. The underground. We do not have many creatures. Many of the creatures from the underground have all been identified, except the ones leaving big shells down below where the ponds are, from which we carry the water to the upper ends. It's hard to say this, and I'm often wondering if my imagination wasn't going out of control. We do not imagine, and we do not think. We're not programmed in this way, but we can see. I've often tried to see the elders when they hide inside a cave. My life would end if I were to be caught. I couldn't help it. I've tried many times, but I didn't have the courage. I can't say why, but I have always been convinced that they must be meeting someone else in the caves. One day I've caught a shadow of another creature, which wasn't an elder. The creature had wings. I'm sure it had. No humanoids have wings, only the Moths. But this is unthinkable. The Moths are the biggest enemies, the biggest evil on the planet. They couldn't possibly come into the caves, as they would be blinded. They cannot see, live or survive in the dark. I understand why we are forbidden to think. Thinking can be digressing, and thinking can make us believe anything. The elders are our futures, our guides, and we must obey them. We do not have names as we do not exist. We are only here to survive, and survive for a purpose. We are only a shadow of what a human looked like before. Our purpose is to guard the motherland and save the human race from extinction. I know about names. We all do. I believe our forefathers must have been called How. I like that. I'd like to be this How. Moths are evil, and they live on the outside, and the humanoids live in the underground, and this is all there is to it. The Moths live inside one great village. Not as giant as planet Earth, no one has ever ventured beyond the oceans. Our land is vast, filled with meadows, forests and fields of grass and herbs, growing out of control at an alarming pace. We can't see the horizon, but there is one, and the land ends at some point. We are not allowed to go past the forests, and we can't venture outside the forests, outside an organized expedition. What we know of the horizon has been bequeathed to us by our forefathers 500 years ago. Beyond the horizon lie the vast oceans filled with water. We have the water around the meadows and the forests. We drink our water from there. Our village has been built inside a big hive at the edge of the forest. The hive includes about 20 trees, and the trees are possibly the largest and tallest ever found on planet Earth. Each moth has its own cell where we retire to sleep. There is a large round space in the middle of the hive. This is where we all meet. Sometimes I worry that it might not always be so. I won't know how the hive has been created, but it's still holding on. Far away live the humanoids, in the underground. We never go there, but some of our kings have been there. We have a giant queen who conceives new moths every day, and we have at least 100 kings. We have the main soldiers, the killer soldiers, and we have thousands of them, and the rest are different varieties of moths. Like myself, about 8, but all looking the same in appearance. They say a moth never lasts very long, but the queen always lasts forever. They lay hundreds of eggs every day. We all communicate in the same way, my body language. With the movement of our wings, we have the main language, but there is no sound. It's inside us. We can transmit this to another moth, and our kings can transmit this to the humanoids. Humanoids use the same language. They also have a sound. They speak. It's always been like this for the last 500 years. Our world. The moths live in one giant village inside a hive. In the top center of the hive there is the mother. It is where the moth is being conceived. In the back of the hive and deep inside is where we plan our expeditions to the outside world. We will hunt for food and water, where we capture the humanoids underneath the hive. Deep underground is where we keep the humanoids. It is where we keep them prisoners. We need humanoids to survive. They work for us and they feed us. We drink their blood. Each day a humanoid is being taken to the central point of the hive. There are 100 moths in turn feed on various parts of the humanoid's body. The humanoid always faints at the end and is taken away back to our moth soldiers underneath the hive. It will take a while for the humanoid to recover, and he will be sent again to feed us. Sometimes a humanoid die, and we allow the humanoid to be taken outside and dumped nearby, like the forest where wolves, smaller than a moth, are third in size but still ferocious enough, will eat the body. The wolves will never attack a moth. They're scared of moths. They also smell us. If we had a particular scent, the humanoid can't stand our scent. I believe it is too strong for them. I can understand the concept of smell, but moths cannot smell. They have no sense of it. We do not have many creatures on Earth. The small wolves, a few small birds, and the humanoids. The sun is always shining and is always hot. Too hot for our hive, but somehow the hive has sustained the heat for 500 years. Sometimes I'm really worried that it might not always be so. I know now the hive has been created, but it's still holding on. The hive has always been there. No one knows how or why. I often ask myself a few questions about Earth and the life we lead, but no one else does. We can't talk about it or even think about it. It is not our purpose in life. Far away live the humanoids in the underground. We never go there, but some of our kings have been there. We have a giant queen moth who conceives new moths every day, 100 kings at least. The kings are just like another moth, except the queen is the size of 20 moths. Each day a king visits the queen for a conceptual ceremony. Say or think anything, but the only thing that we know and pass on to new generations is that a moth never lasts very long, but a queen lasts forever. No one knows where our big shape comes from. It gradually grew over 500 years ago. Back then the moths then were small and constantly honeyed by the humans. The kings. Kings' wings vary enormously, but they are all adorned in the colors of the earth. The kings are taller than the soldiers, 2.5 meters height, and their wings open wide and can reach 30 meters wide. When the kings and the soldiers parade in the sky, it is the most fascinating sight in the world. It recovers the sky, and the sound of the wings battering away is so deafening. It resonates into the corners of the earth. When we woke up in the morning, the elders were surrounding us. The elders had never been standing so close to us. Never seen so many. 100 at least. I could see from the horizon that the humanoids living down below are slowly approaching. We've never ever seen a gathering of so many humanoids of such magnitude. As we all woke up astounded by the sheer scale of this deployment, we were all given orders that will have unprecedented consequences and repercussions for all humanoids, the entire human race, and the survival of planet Earth. We are about to move from the underground to the mainland. We are about to take over the whole planet. All sorts of weaponry have been handed to us by the elders. Axes, swords, antique rifles, laser beams, some weapons they only used 500 years ago, large bowls of volcanic lava, large quantities of food and water. We will cross the land. We will go to the moths. We will slaughter the moths one by one. We will free all our fellow humanoids, and we will burn their hive to the ground. We will drive all the moths to extinction. We will go to the end of the earth to hunt them without mercy. We need to have no fear, for it is our destiny fulfilled. This has to happen, and will happen. We will reclaim the earth and pave the way for the return of all humans to the motherland. Over 1,000 humanoids, the entire population of humanoids have assembled together for the first time in history. We are about to move to the outside world for the one and only fight the human race has faced in 500 years. In humans we trust. In humans we fight. In humans we shall live. In humans we shall conquer. Thus our elders orated this in almost perfect unison. The sheer loudness of voices echoed in the whole underground. We all felt compelled to repeat the 4 commandments as if we already knew it, but didn't. It was the very first time we heard this, and the very first time we embarked on such a colossal expedition. The sun can be our own worst enemy, but can also be our protector. The sun rules the earth above all humans, and moths included. Some other creatures from the past believe that the sun is the almighty and the creator of everything. Sun was our first encounter with the outside world, and it's sizzling hot. It set us all in a powerful spirit, desperate, determined and fearless. There shall be no moths left on this earth. We will destroy them one by one. The sun is burning away the last remnants of moth civilization. A moth can be seen on the blue sky. An army of over 1,000 humanoids are on the outside, form different square ranks just like the moths when they fly when ready for war. We move in different directions, but with one destination in mind, the moth center. We walk at a steady pace, steady but still fast, alert, vigilant, scrutinizing both the sky and the horizon. No one is in sight, ready for the vermin. We walk again and again. The sun is burning in the sky, burning our skin. We sweat. I don't believe everyone's sweaty before. I did. I've been to the outside before. We're melting, but we're still moving. We have to. There is no turning back. We're so determined. There is no other way, no other choice for the survival for us, the entire humanoid race and the entire planet. We walk and walk under the burning heat. It is a long journey, but we can't give up. We see some birds in the sky. Definitely birds, no moths. It's still too early for moths. There's no need to fly nearer to the moths. Their presence signifies one thing: we're nearly there. Walk again for a while on a huge meadow of grass. We can finally see a tree, then another. We're fast approaching the forest of the moths, where their village is. We can't see any moth, but we can see other large detachments of humanoids on the horizon. We walk again, faster and faster. We find a first group of 4 moths. We have taken them by surprise. They are all surrounded, unable to fly away, run away or fight back. Moths have a lot of blood, our blood, drained and sucked mercilessly, and we slaughtered them. Blood is flying all over the place. We're nearing the hive. We can't stop. It's a rush-in. We're surrounding the main hive and all the other smaller hives around. Lots of humanoids are everywhere. I finally realised that we're there and everywhere. Taken by surprise, they are in complete panic. Noises are being blasted from everywhere. The moths are screaming for their lives, terrified. We won't let go. We will slaughter each and every one of them. The earth will be filled with red blood of the vanquished. The destruction of the moth. Cohorts from the underground advancing towards the hive. Cohorts from the upper land advancing towards the hive. 6 moths surround the humanoid from the underground. They're about to slice him with their swords, but behind each moth is skulking another humanoid. The humanoids start slicing the moths with their own swords. The noise coming out of the moths is deafening and devastating. Blood is splattered everywhere. All the 4 moths have been slaughtered. The humanoids who have just achieved this slaughter are now invigorated for more blood. The surviving moths now want revenge for this slaughter. A humanoid from the underground jumps on the back of a guardian moth. The moth manages to retreat. Another moth comes to his rescue, but this time the humanoid is slaughtered. The moth is rushing in for me, and this time I'm no longer witness and push into this new slaughter. First moth and another humanoid from the upper land jumps into my aid. Both moths have been eviscerated. Blood is everywhere. I'm drowning in blood. The blood of moths and the humanoids. Explosion with white smoke everywhere. No one has heard or seen anything like that before. Least of all a humanoid. 10 or more moths are falling down, nearly missing my head in the process. Moths are terrified, yet all bouncing back with a terrible vigor. Humanoids are using a machine gun over the flying moths. White smoke is everywhere. The moths are falling one by one on the grass. The humanoids are repeating the shootout over and over again. The moths are now retreating. Now they are flying over their death. Meanwhile on the ground, the war is raging. The slaughtering intensifies. Blood, blood and more blood. Sea of blood. 2 humanoids are being slaughtered in front of me. Jump over a moth from behind and slice the beast into pieces. The other soldier moth tries to defend the moth, but they come too late to save it. Me instead. I'm done for. At the same time, another humanoid is jumping behind the 2 moths, and within a few short moments, both heads of the moths are chopped off and fall to the ground. The smell of blood, death, and something else is omnipresent. Sure, what other smell it can be, unknown, repugnant. I feel so weak, it's so hot. The sun is shining and shining, burning and burning away. More moths pouring out of the hive, but they are flying to their deaths. Bombing from the humanoids, and more dead bodies. The ground is littered with corpses and an ocean of bodies, mainly moths, but also fellow humanoids. The stench is horrifying and extremely distracting. There is no time to smell or think about all of this. There's been hundreds of moths already flying out from the hive already and killed, but hundreds more are coming out again. Moths are meeting their destiny. They are and they will be slaughtered one by one. The moths are getting desperate and ferocious. but there are no fade-ins from the humanoids. We will kill them all. One by one, two by two, more moths are falling, more heads chopped off. One moth dies, two humanoids die. Two moths down, one humanoid dies, sliced into pieces. Another humanoid dies, 4 moths are being slaughtered. Another moth dies, but hundreds more are flying away from the hive. When will it end? 2 moths throwing water at me from the flask. The moths are blind and stupid. They didn't see it coming. Stand water. They can drink water, but can't be immersed inside or survive being splashed by water. Another humanoid is finishing the job for me. They are both slaughtered, and nearly at the same time. The carnage is beyond anything anyone has ever seen before. We never had a war on that magnitude or any other war before. At least a war when anyone alive would remember. The bigger moths, the generals are finally showing up. The war is really getting serious. All rushing out on foot. One general is more ferocious than 10 soldier moths. 5 to 10 generals, then another group of 10. No, there must be 100 generals. War in black has been shaped in front of us. They are too strong for the humanoids. They are slaughtering us. They are full of venom, anger, and hate. 2 to 5, 10, 40 to 50 humanoids are being slaughtered. 100 humanoids collapsed. A cohort of humanoids from the underground seen on the horizon. A bit late in the day, a cohort of humanoids is carrying a huge bowl of lava. Another cohort of humanoids is arriving, bearing torches lit with fire. The moths are scared of fire. They cannot handle fire. One general is blocking my way. I rush over to him. He bites me, and I hit him. Another humanoid is hitting him from the back with an axe. The blood of a moth explodes all over my face. Another general is behind the humanoid who did this and slaughters him. I'm again standing in front of the general, half blinded by blood. I first try to hit him with my sword. We both fall on the floor. I'm done for. We're both falling on the floor, on the blood and over the dead, mutilated corpses. I'm swallowing blood from humanoids and from the moths. The general suddenly retreats in panic. They all seem to retreat. The heat is unbearable. What is happening here? Flames. Fire. It's fire. There is a fire. I have to get up. I need to get up now. I can't seem to manage this. I'm slowly getting up. Flames. Fire. It's a fire. There is a fire. A gigantic fire somewhere. I have to get up. I can't see a thing. The other flames are everywhere. The flames are surrounding the generals. They are screaming and screaming. It's agonizing to hear them. Hundreds of humanoids are burning too. So many dead. Some are still alive and squealing in desperation. It covers the noise a fire can make and is a temporary relief from the heat. Temporary distraction. I can't hear the noise. I'd rather go deaf. The screams. I cover my ears with my hands, but the fire is gaining ground and will soon reach me. I see an opening. No fire there. I run for it. I'm about to enter the hive. More humanoids are following behind me. Humanoids are already in. More sullen noises inside. The generals and the humanoids, and between the generals and the soldier moths. Why are the generals and soldiers fighting one another? This is not the time to think, and humanoids have not been brought up on this planet to think. But why would they want to kill one another? The soldier moths must be attempting to defect. I'm rushing down below. No fighting there, but legions of moths rushing out, passing me by and ignoring me, rushing about in all directions, followed by humanoids. Down deep inside the corridors, more rushing around. This frenzy of activity is bewildering, and no one has even noticed me. Down again, below ground. Even there, the extreme heat can be felt. Finally, the center of the hive. Such a horrendous sight. Hideous in all its splendor. Moths fighting moths, and all of humanoids inside. Where are my fellow humanoids? Moths have by now completely ignored me. To them I must have either been invisible or a moth. What a repulsive thought. Finally, my humanoids are rushing in and joining in this ludicrous fighting between the moths. At least 50 generals have now gathered in the middle, and more humanoids are rushing in the last man's fight. It is slaughtering on a scale far beyond the first fight outside the hive. Between the humanoids and the general moths, they all seem to be on an equal force and power, all as desperate as one another. It will never end. Can't see this anymore. I'm rushing further down the corridor. More moths are rushing in, completely ignoring me. I resist the temptation to slaughter them. Deep down, it's dark, but dimly lit with fluorescent colours. flowers of some sorts. The bottom end, the food cellar. Humanoids as food, humanoids as slaves. 60 humanoids chained and forced in labor. 20 humanoids hanging upside down without clothes, only covered by some tubes and needles. Blood being extracted from all over their bodies. Soldier moths are astounded to see me there. Enough. I slaughter 2 in one go. Another one is rushing in for me. My anger and desperation is getting the better of me, and I slaughter him. 20 other moths are rushing in for me. Some slave humanoids realizing the situation, and even as terribly weakened as they are, using their chain to fold the soldiers. Some are falling on the ground. Some soldiers are whipping, beating and slaughtering some of the slaves. A burst of 20 to 30 humanoids are barging in. Everyone pauses for a few seconds. The humanoids are completely bewildered by the sheer scale of what they have discovered, and the soldier moths are equally stunned to see so many humanoids as soldiers who managed to burst inside the hive and so far below. I break the silence and slaughter one soldier moth. My action is swiftly followed by all the other humanoids. The soldier moths are taken by surprise. It's a complete carnage. The humanoids are liberating the slave humanoids and are taking them on the outside. The heat is really powerful in there. I and 10 other humanoids are moving to the room next door. This can't be true. A huge moth nearly half the size of the hive is in there, standing still, unable to move and feeding on humanoids. About 5 generals are there standing in front of this monster, the queen moth. We run for the generals and slaughter them. Blood is everywhere. It is too late to rescue the humanoids about to be eaten. The queen is aware of our presence, but seems unable to move. She is slowly shaken about. I won't let her have time to react. That monster needs to be destroyed by any means necessary. There is no time to think, and the humanoids have never been brought up to think. Some humanoids are standing behind me with torches lit with fire. I command my fellow humanoids to throw the torches at the queen. It is like the sound of an earthquake. The scream is deafening. We're all trying to protect our ears, but the noise is piercing through. The queen is burning away. I storm out of the room, followed by the other humanoids. In the other room, the other humanoids are still retreating, whilst we can still hear the ugly piercing emanating from the queen moth. We help the other slave humanoids to get out from down below and out of this hive for good. The heat is felt everywhere. The hive is now melting. We can still hear the sound of the queen burning away. We can see more moths rushing out. Soldiers mainly, but some generals. No moths are trying to fight anymore, and no humanoids want to fight either. We're all rushing out as far as we can, rushing out for our lives. Humanoids never felt anything for life and living before. Never felt for the dead or dying, but we do now. Humanoids never had any feelings of any kind towards any other fellow humanoids before. We were only on Earth to survive, procreate for the survival of the entire human race. Also, as it seems there, to feed the moths. Humanoids were never brought up to think, to talk, and had any other feelings of any kind. Humanoids had to get up in the morning, work, assume our duties, sleep, and die. We are slowly learning differently, learning about life and death, learning about humanity, learning about moths even. We've never slaughtered or killed anyone before, but have now. We despise the moths, but moths were only told what to do by their generals and the queen. We were told what to do by our leaders, and we've always trusted our elders. We trusted our elders to go to war. This war was necessary, and I do believe this, and believe it's a new sentiment for me. For any humanoids, that is. What I do not understand is why we need to do it now and not before. What triggered all this? We are rushing up to ground level. Fire is everywhere. It is a run between the flames. The forest nearby is starting to be on fire too. We escape. We run to the meadow. The hive is burning. We can hear the screams that we were leaving behind. We feel this, and we have never felt anything before. Even the burning sun in the sky is no matching for the heat of the fire. We are all desperately exhausted and even deep in need of water. We do have the flask of water that we left behind, and we drink it all. We must move on. We must go as far away as possible from the fire, as the fire may spread to the meadow. We must reach a river. There are no birds in the sky and no moths. No one feels anything anymore. As the sound of the fire disappeared, the screams of the dying vanished away. There is no more noises. the lesser sound. We walk or attempt to work, carrying the wounded in complete silence. If I'm now wondering about the whole war, I'm certain that my fellow humanoids are thinking the same thing. We're now all thinking will no longer be left to the elders anymore. More thinking is taking place. Why didn't the elders come with us? Who are the elders anyway? I'm remembering things now, and remembering has never been allowed. No humanoid even knew how to remember. I remember scenes from the past, scenes of our life before in the underground. Things can never be the same again. We're on the outside now, and in the burning sun seems like cold water to us compared to the burning heat of the hive. More remembering as we follow along the grass through the meadows. I remember a scene as I've already remembered before. One night when I couldn't sleep, I went to see the elders, but no one is allowed to see the elders at night. I've only seen some silhouettes, the elders and other shadows, not human. I thought at the time that the shadows looked like moths, but this would have been impossible, unthinkable. Anyway, we were not allowed to think. The moths were bigger than the elders. I've never seen a general moth before, but I have now. Memory of these shadows coincide. The shadows were those of the general moths. The moths meeting the elders. The moths meeting the elders? What for? What on earth for? Other thoughts are pouring inside my head. What for? I now remember the feeding room inside the hive. What for? We were raised to feed the moths. What is the sole purpose of a humanoid? More thoughts flying around. It seems so obvious now that every single surviving humanoid is thinking the same thing. What changed? Why the elders didn't suddenly decide to go to war? Something must have happened. Something must have triggered all this. As we was walking down the meadows, discovering the power of memory and thoughts, we are reaching the river. This is our last desperate move. We jump inside to get some fish, eat it raw, some roots from the surrounding bushes and eat. Some humanoids are too exhausted and fall asleep. A new life is set to begin. We all rest under the sun. A sun that doesn't appear to be burning anymore. The sun shines and it's very hot, but not that hot anymore. A sun that we can control. A sun that we can accept and live with. We are all exhausted, unable to move. We still need to return home. But where is home now? Underground? We've always lived under the ground before because of the moths. We lived our entire lives hidden away from the sun. Now things are different. We know better. Home, underground is where the elders live. The elders have a lot of explaining to do. I don't believe anyone wants to be guided by the elders anymore. We trusted them before, but the world has changed now. We can't trust the elders anymore. What and who the elders really are exactly. We rest and we think. We never could think before, but now we can. Are we free now? This is what freedom is. The elders won't like this. We don't like the elders anymore. We do not want them anymore. I now believe that the elders are more evil than the moths. The elders have a lot of explaining to do. I can feel and see a small group of soldier moths is approaching. It's just a small group of 20 at the most. We slowly wake up. Some humanoids stand up. We are all intrigued and curious. We don't feel anger anymore. We don't feel hate. We are still very tired but alive. The moths are feet away from us, but they don't seem to be ready to engage into a fight. They seem broken, exhausted and very sad. They can barely walk. They'd be outnumbered if they started fighting again. One soldier moth is now standing in front of me. Nothing happens for a few seconds and suddenly the moth speaks. You are right. Moths are evil. We are all stunned in sheer disbelief of what we just heard. We are now the walking dead. We are evil. That's what we have been brought up to. I don't know why. We were born that way. We're born anymore. Our queen burned in a fire with a hive. There won't be any more moths. The earth belongs to you now. I'm not sure how to respond. We never had a life. We never really had a name. But my ancestors were called How. My name is How. I finally gained the courage to respond. My name is How. The other How responded. We will now walk away to the end of the earth to die in peace. May earth bring you peace. and they withdraw away on the horizon. As we were walking slowly over the grass, we are slowly approaching the entrance to the underground. And this is horrifying. This dreadful realization has been confirmed. What we knew all along has been true. Over 100 elders with about 50 general moths are getting ready to leave the underground, and no doubt for good, thus abandoning the human race. It was all true. The moths all knew the elders all along, and the elders used the humanoids to feed and nurture them, and the moths for the last 500 years. They've seen us, and they all stood still staring at us, as they all look very frightened, as they have reasons to be. The sheer anger is now brewing inside every single humanoid's head. We have known anger. We have known to fight, and known to think. I would have hoped that the anger would have disappeared from us after the war, but now it has been reignited within a few moments. It seems that the elders may have wanted to change the course of destiny and rule over the moths for themselves, but this has failed. In case it has not been for the humanoids, and it has never been for the survival of the entire human race. We have been slaved for 500 years to the elders and the moths. Our anger couldn't be contained anymore, and we rushed him far closer to the elders and the surviving general moths. There won't be any survivors. It will be a complete carnage, total annihilation. The general moths and the elders are trying to run away, but have been entirely surrounded. We move in and slaughter them without mercy. We have learned about mercy, but we have not yet used mercy. Mercy when anyone deserves it. Blood again is flowing all over the meadow. There are no more elders alive and no more general moths alive on planet Earth. As the slaughtering slowly ends, a loud roaring noise could be heard surrounding us. We can't see anything anymore, but suddenly the earth shakes. Then a massive creature just crashed on Earth near us. A massive and seriously damaged creature. It is like a huge hive. A flying hive, solid and metallic. One creature is coming out of the sun, and he could be human, and is now approaching us. He's waving his hand in the air. We do this too. He signifies hello. He speaks. Hi, my name is Hal. Was his destiny fulfilled? The return of the human race on planet Earth? Only the future will tell. For now the humanoids are all free and have all met their past, the human race. What will the future hold? This is not the end.
Flourished.